Okay, and we are live. I hope. I'm looking at all this thing and it tells me we are live here. So if you're already watching and YouTube hasn't told me yet, welcome along. We'll give it a few minutes for people to jump in. Ah, good, you're all replying to me now. Oh, that's good. Hello, everyone. Slow Panda, Carl Watery, Blueberry Tiger Fox, Nevin VN. Hello to all of you. I actually have time to respond to you right now. I probably won't do too much during the readings. I kind of like to concentrate on these things. So I won't be ignoring you. It's good to see people coming in here. Okay, numbers are changing, people are coming in. Oh, you can tell I'm not used to doing this live because I'm trying to desperately fill time here. Thorin, Phone Gamer, how are you all doing? And how is the music for everyone? I don't want to talk too much over Camazule's music, but I don't want anything being badly mixed. So if it sounds okay, let me know, please. Because at least someone thinks it's good. Thanks, sorry. Okay, thanks, guys. And hello, Roger Baker. Okay, thanks, everyone. I tried to have it roughly around these levels when I'm recording. Thank you. I will turn that down a bit. Let me just turn down the voice levels there a bit, see if that helps. Normally I do all this well before everything and I'm fiddling around with recordings and so on. Yeah, this is the bit you'd never see, me fiddling around. Guy Francis, hello. So yes, this is Before You Depart. It was written for the May game or VN Jam. I put it on itch.io, so I'll put a link. Well, you can find it on itch.io. Links are a bit iffy with YouTube at the moment, but that's what this is about. I know a couple of the people involved, and I was really happy to do this. So if they're not watching, hopefully they can watch this later. It will be available. Wadpaw, hello. I don't know if it's that exciting, Slow Panda. And yes, this is me trying to fill time. Yeah, Camazule, excellent. Camazule is the person behind the music here. So I know I'm going to keep talking over it. But, yeah, play Before You Depart yourself, then you can listen to all the music. Nightshade, hello. Yeah, it's a rare, very rare live stream, I know. And Fallen Wolf and I have been talking about getting another one done sometime with A Place to Call Home. But just trying to align our schedules can be hard sometimes. But I'll just give it a couple more minutes and make sure people are in. What genre? I would describe it as kind of a slice of life, but it isn't in a certain very important way. Maybe more fantasy. It's a little tough one. Oh dear, Thorin. Yeah, go and get some sleep. Don't worry, it will be up later. I hope you enjoy it then. Thank you, Camazule. That kind of answers it. What for? I'm doing pretty well. It's the weekend. The weather's not too bad. And I have plants to put in the ground tomorrow. I've got some apple trees. I'm hoping they do well up here. And I hope you're all doing well. And reading some of the comments on Itch about this, I think it is a little moving in places, so just be prepared for that. But we've just been about 5 minutes now. Give people time to come in. And I'm going to hopefully get this to work properly. So I'm not used to live streaming, so I always worry that things are going wrong and I'm not realizing it. Okay, everything seems okay. It's a little choppy. YouTube keeps warning me its bitrate is lower than recommended, but that's just my internet connection, so hopefully this goes okay. Zenvitar, hello. Oh, that sounds good, Nightshade. Okay, and as I said to everyone earlier on, don't worry if you put something in chat and I don't respond soon or for ages. I'm just kind of concentrated on the reading. And feel free to ping me once the reading's done if you have anything you particularly want to say or any questions. Anything I missed, I'll try and keep half an eye on the chat. Having said all that, and trying to get used to the fact I have a live audience, we're going to start this up. I hope you all enjoy it, especially Camazule and anyone else who's involved in this, who's watching this right now. I have to get nervous when I have creators paying attention to my stuff. Okay. Hope you enjoy it. At 3:05 a.m, during the dark of a drizzly morning, I finally succumbed to leukemia. "4 years, huh? By the end, I wished I'd only lasted one." I traced a finger over the corpse's cheek. Nothing. No sensation in my fingertips, nor a depression in the flesh. There's only total numbness. I stood, feeling complete weightlessness. My feet felt no pressure against the floor. Along with my touch, my sense of smell was also absent. The air should have been thoroughly drenched with the stinging odour of formaldehyde and embalming fluid, yet it is no more pungent than a glass of water. A mortician reached through my non-corporeal figure and dotted the body with several small metal discs. There was no one around when I had finally passed. No one mourned me. No one wept. I wanted to know I meant something, that a part of the world was taken away. The mortician coughed and sprayed the air with a tinge of deodorant before he prepared the corpse for the flames. That body. God, it doesn't even look like me. The milky skin, dilated eyes, and a slack jaw barely covering the teeth. It's a limp hunk of meat that'll soon be ash. A tear dropped from my cheek and vanished into the floor. What am I even doing here? Is this some dying dream? Didn't I already kick the bucket? Or is this limbo? I mean, I guess it's better than the alternative, down there. Then again, spending an eternity watching the world go by as I remain in some kind of apparition sounds like an idea straight from Lucifer himself. Well, what else can I do? What am I supposed to do? I see the mortician prepare my casket for cremation. Seems like they'll be burning it all up soon. As disturbing as it is, part of me wants to see. Maybe I can phase into the oven and get a good look at the incineration of the body that once belonged to me. Maybe it's for the best I'm dead. I turned away and walked towards the door. Instinctively I reached for the handle, only for it to phase through my fingers. Still a damn ass in death. I walked through the door, across the hall and through the wall into the morning drizzle. Not a bad day to die, I guess. Weather's appropriate. I look up to the gorgeous grey sky. I can almost feel the faint dapple of water on my face. During mornings like these, I would curl up with a cup of coffee and simply stare out in the endless white fog. I'd gaze at nothing in particular, just enjoying the blankness of the sky's canvas. I wandered outside the mortuary until I reached the garden. The spring rains had brought dazzling flower blossoms that adorned the edges of the pathways. They all led to a tall fountain at its centre. I approached the fountain and laid at its base. The pattering water provided a nice, soothing ambience. If this truly isn't some dying dream, nothing seems to be stopping me from going anywhere I'd like. I wonder if they just forgot about me. Am I just a lone soul, consigned to wander around forever? It might actually be fun for a century or so. I dipped a foot into the fountain. As expected, no ripple or chills. I couldn't rightly tell if it was actually submerged at first. Is this how I'm spending my afterlife? Playing around with a fountain outside some backwater mortuary? Or do you enjoy the water too? Huh? A voice? Is someone there? I turned around and scanned my surroundings, but I didn't see anyone. Up here, sir. Wait, what? What the fuck? I collapsed, phasing partially into the ground. What are you? Oh, I'm sorry, Maury. I didn't mean to startle you. Let me hop on down. That thing threw itself off the statue and into the water. No splash. No, this has to be some sort of nightmare. Stay back, please. Just let me die, okay? Oh, you already did that, though. A few hours ago, actually. You finally passed away. So don't worry. You're dead now. I can assure you. What the fuck are you talking about? The creature sighed and dragged a claw across its fur. He had shaggy, pitch-black fur. It wavered delicately as if exposed to a soft breeze. Ghostly petals tapered from his sleeves and tail, swirling around in the air for a moment before fading into oblivion. This demon knelt down in the water pool. He stared at me intensely with those hellish red eyes. I'm sorry. Perhaps I should let you calm down first. You want me to calm down? I have no idea what's even going on. Well, as I mentioned before, you're dead. However, you haven't been taken beyond yet. You're in the in-between, as I call it. Taken beyond? Yes, where all souls go. Oh, how rude of me. I should have introduced myself. I am Memento, your reaper and guide into the after. It extended one of its paws towards me. I stared blankly for an uncomfortable beat before the wolf creature retracted its arm. Oh, I am sorry. Was that inappropriate? I do apologize, Maury. I hope I did not offend you in any manner. You know my name? Of course. It would be rude not to. My nerves cooled a touch. If this thing meant to harm me, assuming that's even possible, it would have done so now. It spoke in a hushed tone, almost reserved. It was like the whispers of the wind. Memento? Yes? Oh, yes, sir. Is there something you require? Can we roll back a bit? Because I have a lot of questions. Of course, ask away. So, you reaped my soul? You took it out of my body? Well, no, actually. What? I mean, that is my job. My handiwork is quite excellent. You'll find no other Reaper with a more refined skill, I assure you. However, I did not take your soul myself. Usually I'm supposed to, but this time I just let the spirit leave the shell naturally. So, now you see me. What? Why? He's a Reaper. My Reaper. Why didn't he take my soul? What the hell is this guy on about? God, if this is a dying dream, please just let me croak already. Why would you do that? I died hours ago, and only now you show up? Do you know what it's like gawking at your own corpse? I meant nothing by it, I assure you, sir. It's simply... He looked away and scratched the back of his ghostly scruff. I wanted to ask you something. Huh? Me? You want to ask me something? He nodded. What could I possibly tell you that you wouldn't already know? You're some kind of grim Reaper spirit or whatever. What could I possibly do for you? Memento nibbled on his finger and looked anxiously to the side. Oh, I wanted to know what it's like. Know what is like? What it's like to live. I've taken humans from all over this world to their final rest. The elderly, children, mothers, fathers, even newborns. I guide all of them to the end. So why'd you make me wait so long? Well, I just wanted to make sure you had time to process it all. I didn't want to jump in and bombard you with my inquiries just after you had died. But why specifically me? Memento tilted his head, seemingly pondering the question. I've done this for so long. My time with each human is short, perhaps a few minutes at most, but I always learn the most fascinating things. A mother once begged me not to take her from her family. She wept, cried, and cursed me. However, there was another time an elderly man embraced me with open arms. He thanked me for my arrival and walked with me peacefully. I am met with hatred, terror, and disgust. Death must be so terrible, yes? The end of your waking life? The end of everything? Yet, I meet those who look back fondly at their life. Those who seem content to leave. Those who are happy. And it's those happy ones that make me wonder. Why? I still don't understand. There are people dying all over the globe at this very moment. Great scientists, people with families, war heroes. I mean, I'm just a 30-something screw-up who died young and alone. I'm no one. I lived my life as no one. I'll be forgotten. Well, it's all the same in the end. Everyone's forgotten eventually. Anyways, I just thought it was the right time to pose my question. The right time? Well, I guess I could have asked the last one, or the one before, or the one before. But I decided, Memento, you're going to ask the next one, and so I did. It was quite difficult, too. I had to plan my inquiry properly. So you spent the last few hours just thinking of how you're going to ask me? When you put it that way, it does sound quite cowardly, I must admit. But I wanted to make sure you were comfortable first before I dropped this question on you. And seeing your reaction, perhaps it wasn't executed most perfectly. So you're asking me just on a whim? Out of the millions of people, I just so happen to be the one? That's about the extent of it, yes. What if I decline? Memento frowned and looked away. Well then, I will simply take you beyond, like the rest. Beyond? What is there beyond? Well, there's nothing to be afraid of. Memento's ears twitched. It's, well, it's very peaceful. Peaceful? Yes, eternal bliss, some may say. Well, it's where everyone goes. I nearly fell to my knees then and there. Eternal happiness? I will get to live in pure bliss for the rest of eternity? The thought was almost too overwhelming. What would it be like? Who would I get to see? Visages of important historical figures, great film stars, ingenious academics raced through my mind. I get to go there? To enjoy paradise? Forever? No kidding? You're not kidding me, are you? Well, what do you think? Yes! Oh, yes! God, thank you. Oh, whoever's in charge here. Joyous tears welled in my eyes. Didn't even bother to wipe them away. After everything I experienced, something amazing finally happens. And it's the greatest thing imaginable. I turned to Memento, bearing a beaming smile. I could at least try to help him, considering the good news he just delivered. So, you want to know the meaning of life? I mean, I don't think I could tell you. I wouldn't know where to start. There are people who have dedicated their entire lives to that question. Philosophers who... Oh yes, I've met one. Mr. Hegel. Oh, he was quite the interesting fellow, I must say. He did not take his reaping quite well, I must admit. And he talked in droves. It must have been an hour before I could convince him to just go away. Interesting man. Shame I cannot speak to him again. So if I tell you what you want to know, then what do I get? Do I get to return? His eyes fixed to the side and he cocked a brow peculiarly. My apologies, but no. You are deceased, Maury. There is no returning. So what if I run? Memento stopped for a moment and stared directly at me. His red eyes widened into blood-red moons. You could run to the ends of this universe, but I would still be there to take you away. There is no being that can escape me. None ever have, and certainly none ever will. He explained flatly. It's simply how it is. For once his gentle demeanour peeled back and gave way to something otherworldly. His voice chilled my bones to their marrow. I swallowed a heap of lead and receded. Do not mistake me, Maury. It would be unpleasant. A moment had passed and the chill vanished. It was replaced by a slight, warm smile. However, I will offer you extended time to make peace with things. It is morning now. I must take you beyond by sunset. You have all day to show me. Perhaps you can make peace with your departure. Many will give anything to have one final moment with the ones they loved, to actually say farewell, or to amend a bridge that has long been burned. So, I'll get to make peace with everything if I tell you what it means to be, well, me? Yes, that is the extent of it. I looked to the overcast sky. A cloud parted, giving way to a sunbeam. Me? I'm the one who gets to find closure? Not the mother Memento tore away from her family. Not a young lover who never got to see their significant other again. Just me, the man who has nothing. What is there even to close? I turned to face Memento. He shifted around in anticipation, biting his lower lip with a knife-sharp fang. Closure, huh? Well, what's a few hours compared to eternity? Fine then, I'll help you. A snaggletooth grin spread across his face. Oh, most excellent! You have my eternal gratitude. He reached out a paw, offering to pull me up out of the fountain's pool.
I need a paw, my friend?
I grabbed Memento's paw. For once there was something tangibly there. It was almost uncanny. He hoisted me up and I could feel the strength of his forearm, the brush of his fur and the coolness of his paw. Memento held my hand for a few seconds, staring intently.
My apologies. You humans are just always so warm.
The sun sliced through the heavy overcast, and the city was coming to life with activity. Children prepared for school, and adults began commuting to their 9 to 5. Everything was so normal. Life continued unabated.
So then.
Oops. And that is example of this doing live. I normally edit those little errors out. Sorry about that. Breaks the narrative, doesn't it? So then, where should we go?
Well, I don't know.
You don't know?
Well, I'm not sure. I want to see what kind of joys you could explain to me.
Joys?
Yes, joys. The things that make humans smile. The things they look back on fondly. They always speak of things like family, loved ones, or material items that gave them great joy. If humans do not have these joys, then what reason would they have to be so distraught by my arrival? Joy must be the key, yes?
I guess. In a sense, everything we do is in service of maximizing our happiness. Be it money, a loved one, or material items as you described.
So, show me.
Show you?
Yes, show me a joy. You had a joy, did you not?
Damn, it's been a long while since I thought about that. When was I last happy? I skirted around the fountain and sat on the side facing the city. Memento hopped up beside me, legs crossed and arms leaning on his knees. He stared at me curiously like a child expecting an answer. When was I last happy? Obviously not any time in these past few years. But even before then. Before I pushed everyone away. I delved deep, reaching into the past. Moonlit Waltz. It was a play I was in. God, way back when. It's about a star who fell in love with a man on Earth. It's all about their differences, their growing connection and all that. But the star had to return home since she was a star. She had no choice. But before she left, she and the man danced in the starlight one final time.
Oh!
He was fully invested now, ears perked and eyes wide. They weren't so bloodshot, I dare say he looked like a puppy of sorts.
And that's what you remember, yes? So show me.
Well, I can't really show you. It happened a long time ago.
Ah, right. That is true.
Memento sprung up for the fountain's edge.
In that case, when did this play happen?
I'm not sure. I was big into theatre during college, like 10 years ago maybe? So around that time.
10 years. Got it.
What are you doing? Before I could finish that thought, Memento snapped his fingers, and the entire city swirled into a vortex. What the hell are you doing?
Going back. Seeing your memory and all that. Here we go. This must be it.
Last night, I met a star. She was the most beautiful star you've ever seen. Who are you? Your hair. Your body. You came from the sky? Yes, I travelled so very far to arrive here. Through endless space and past innumerable planets, many you never would have imagined existed. And on my journey, I have arrived here in this meadow, with you. I don't believe it. This must be a dream. This is Lycoris Community Theatre, just as I remember. I stood at the very back of the bleachers, watching the actors from above. You, what is your name? Oh my fucking lord, is that what I sounded like?
Whoa.
I turned to face Memento, who was sitting half-faced into an elderly woman. You gonna get up?
Oh, I didn't even notice. Apologies, Mom. This is your theatre.
His eyes were alight with awe at the half-assed set and poor lighting. He was. His little derelict. I think they were renovating while the show was in production.
Oh, I see.
Memento walked through a couple of seats towards the stage.
Come on, I want to get a closer look.
What? Nothing I could do to stop him, I guess. I took the central staircase instead, careful to avoid phasing through anyone. The scene transitioned and the set shifted.
You tell stories like this. But nothing's changed. Wasn't it the same place as before?
Plays require some suspension of disbelief. Like here, we're supposed to be back inside a house. You can see over there technicians moving some of the furniture on set.
Oh, so it's up to your imagination then?
I suppose.
And this is what gives humans the joy. These playthings.
Huh. Well... If you're a good enough actor, then perhaps. On cue, my character ran in, opened the door in an overdramatic, frantic fashion. Father, you would not believe what just happened.
Oh, brother.
Memento pointed gleefully.
That's you, that's you.
Yeah, sure is.
So, tell me more.
About?
About plays, all these theatrics and stuff. Oh, you must have been so happy, yes?
Well, I suppose. Happy? Was I happy here? I glanced at my character as telling the story of his chance encounter with the star. The delivery, the enunciation, the stuttering. God, how do you even get this part? I looked into my own eyes. There was passion, there was excitement. This must have been the first showing. I remembered staying up all night, butterflies fluttering like crazy. The nerves, the anxiety, then finally going on stage to perform. Poor kid. He has no idea. No idea what comes next. Look at him, so full of aspiration, so full of dreams. I wanted to become a star on Broadway, to show the world my talent and my passion. Perhaps he was doomed from the start.
How do you mean?
This kid had a dream, Memento. Something he clung to harder than anything else. Something that drove him to walk forward every day. Amid all the shit in school, amid the pain of other circumstances.
And is that what a joy is? A dream?
It could be.
And what happens if that dream is impossible?
I bit my lip and looked downwards. Now that's the real problem, isn't it?
But you look so happy.
Because I was a dumb kid who thought I could make it. I grew up on Julie Andrews and Fred Astaire. It's kind of sad looking at it.
But you're happy here, yes? So how could that be sad?
It's a crapshoot, Memento. A game of luck that was never in the cards for me. No money to be made in it, as my father was so kind to point out.
So, what did you pursue instead?
It was something he insisted was the safer bet. Maybe he was right. The play continued. Being incorporeal did have its benefits, since I didn't get tired from standing around. While I moaned every time I had a line, Memento's tail wagged uncontrollably. That's a cute little puppy dog, huh? Who'd have thought? Still, at least someone enjoyed my acting. It was a simple story. The performance spanned an hour and a half tops. A story about a romance that was never meant to be. Memento seemed most interested by the star. He kept asking questions about her, like why she was so reluctant to love the boy back, or why does the boy love her so much in the first place? At one point he even took to the stage and wandered around as an intense scene played out between the star and my character's father. I reflexively yelled at him to get down, but I then remembered we were merely reliving a memory. It took me a moment to figure out what he was doing. Memento stood by the star as she argued with her father. He mimicked all her affectations and tried mouthing her lines. There was a moment where the star paused. She had stumbled over a line. For a second the theatre was still. Even Memento had his eyes strained heavily on her. The peering gaze of the audience, the mounting pressure of that singular moment. Though it was merely a memory, I felt my heart stop, just as it did all those years ago. She stumbled again, and again. But they were not mistakes. She was doing it on purpose. In the original script there was no stumbling, but here she took her mistake and rolled with it. Her voice became coarse and she stuttered in response to the father's angered tone. God, she was amazing. Memento hopped off after this and sidled over beside me.
Much harder than it looks, yeah? And you had to be in front of a whole crowd? I'm not sure if I could do it. I'm only ever seen by one person at a time. But that girl, the star, she was wonderful.
Yeah, she sure is. I stared at the star wistfully, to hear her voice again after so long.
Maury.
Yeah?
You alright there?
Yes, I'm fine. Before long, the final scene had arrived. Back at the first set, where the whole play began, the field dimmed a soft blue. My dear, please. There must be another way. The star looked silent and bit her lip. Unlike me, she was so natural. Her acting subtle yet effective. She portrayed reticence with a slight glance to the ground, anxiety of the beginnings of a stifled sentence. What was I doing with someone like her? You have taught me many things, my love. But I am a star, and a star must continue its journey across the sky. I know, it is painful, my dear, but it is my nature, my purpose for being. It's just how it is. My character collapsed, clawing at his face. Honestly, that cry acting wasn't nearly as bad as I remember. The star walked forward. My character grabbed her by the wrist. Just one more thing. There was a hush as the characters faced each other. I haven't taught you how to dance yet. The star's eyes flickered, mouth held agape. No, I suppose not. I placed a hand on her waist. Just one more, if you must go. Like this? My character shook his head. No, like this.
Whoa.
God, she was wonderful. I remembered every step I took was painstakingly choreographed, but for her it came so effortlessly. She didn't deserve to be stuck with an oaf like me. Memento swayed to and fro with the music. Those movements were certainly much less refined. The actors twirled, and in response the wolf twirled as well. A bit too much, and he tumbled to the ground. He laughed it off and continued staring at the dance. This was the pride of the show, the climax, the part everyone was waiting for. So, what do you think?
It was very good. The ending dance, my goodness.
Memento swayed back and forth, mimicking the motions.
Could you show me?
Show you? The moves? He nodded happily. Well, this happened over a decade ago. I don't think I remember the choreography. Memento's ears dropped in his disappointment. Did this all answer your question?
Well, somewhat. I'm still unsure what you mean by dream. A joy cannot just be that, can it? What about a sunset? Or the smell of a pretty flower?
Well, I suppose, but...
Ooh, or belly rubs.
You get belly rubs?
Well, sometimes when I reap a dog lover, they ask me for one last pat. I must admit, they are quite pleasing.
I did always want a dog, a nice and fluffy one. They're amazing creatures, so intelligent and affectionate.
Like me,
Memento said with an innocent look on his face.
Well, you certainly got the look down.
Alas, it wasn't meant to be. Too much work, my dad would say. Too much responsibility.
So, a loving pal who's by your side, is that a source of joy?
Well, yes, I suppose it could be a source of happiness as well.
Well, I hope I can suffice in that role for now.
Well, you're doing adequately. But back to the whole joy thing. They're, fleeting.
I mean, isn't that life?
I suppose. But those are different. A pretty flower, a sunset, or belly rubs will gratify you in the moment. An ambition, however, that's a goal for the long term, perhaps your whole life. Some get to achieve it, while others, I watched a lot of classical movies during my childhood. Lots of big dancers, singers and thespians from the 50s and 60s. I remember staring at the screen in awe of what I was witnessing. The colours of the films, the passion in their voices and movements. They were utterly enchanting. That feeling of captivation blossomed inside me. It made me want to do the same to others. To stand on a fancy stage somewhere in the lens of a big camera and to broadcast my talent to all the world. I so desperately wanted that dream. I wanted people to be mesmerised by me. I wanted it so badly. It was my raison d'etre. I'm not sure how to further answer your question. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I think you illustrated it quite well, Maury.
Well, let's just get this over with soon so I can enjoy eternity. They've probably got much better plays up there. Know if I'll get to meet Gene Kelly or someone. I could spend all forever learning from the greats.
Let's not be hasty now. It's the last time you're ever going to see Earth. I would suggest you appreciate it before you're gone.
I was about to respond when Memento's ears perked up.
What's that?
He faced the stage. The cast had finished doing their bows and returning backstage. Memento was focused on the girl who played the star. She had dark skin and braided black hair that tumbled down shoulder length. Her name was Stella. If this is my memory, then... I looked closer at Stella as she walked off stage. Her eyes looked red. The light caught the glisten of tears. Past me, followed right behind her.
What's going on there?
Memento leaped onto the stage and followed the two. Hey, wait! The wolf followed Stella and my past self backstage. Now Stella was audibly weeping. Past Maury lay a hand on his shoulder, and she turned to face him. Come on, let's go somewhere quieter. The other castmates shot her concerned glances, but Past Maury shielded her from view and led her to the changing room. He didn't show up. Come on, he must have been in the crowd. Did you see your mom? Stella nodded. Mom was there, but he promised me, no matter what happened with Mom, he said he'd see me here. Stella, I just wanted him to be here, like before. Memento sidled up beside past me, looking curiously at the weeping girl.
What's happening?
Stella knelt down and buried her face in her hands. Why? Why did they have to? I know what you're going through, Stella. But never ever blame yourself. It was their decision. He never did enjoy these plays. Always said it was a waste of time. Maybe he's right. You know what? Your dad is a piece of garbage. Abandoning you like that, crushing your dreams. What kind of parent does that? Leaving you to suffer in the wake of their own issues. They're awful. Scum on earth. Forget about them. Stella looked shocked and stared at my past self, and blinking. I'm sorry, just forget about that. Please, stay strong. You're an amazing actress. You'll do great things. He knelt beside Stella and offered a hug. She nodded, and within a moment we were locked in a tight embrace. Memento's ears perked, his eyes wide with curiosity as he approached the two. A beat slipped by, then past me, let go of Stella and stood back up. I'll be here if you need me. Do you need time alone? Stella nodded. My past self approached the door to rejoin the rest of the cast. Just as his fingers wrapped around the knob, he froze in place. What did you do?
Pause a memory.
Why?
You're leaving.
Yeah, and? Memento turned to Stella, who was still kneeling. He approached her, looking intently at her face.
What was that? Why was she weeping?
I mean, I don't think it's much of your business. Memento turned to me, confused.
But these are mortal affairs, yes?
Well, I guess you're right on that front.
So, why'd you hesitate? There's no reason not to.
Still, I'd feel like a piece of shit for talking about it, even after I'm dead.
Why?
It's just because. I'd feel guilty regardless, if it really doesn't matter anymore.
Guilty?
He looked away from me for a moment, almost as if the word had caught him off guard. Are you familiar with this emotion, Memento? It's when you feel ashamed of how your own actions affected others, be it lying about something or pushing someone who cared about you away. Memento stared blankly for a few seconds.
I see. Interesting.
Immediately, as if to veer right away from the subject, he turned to Stella.
You embraced this girl. Did you love her?
She was a close friend, but no, I would not say I was romantically interested. I'm Well, I'm more into men, actually. Though I never found anyone.
No one?
Yeah, just how it goes, I guess. Some were taken, while for others, it's just the wrong time.
Would you have liked someone, a significant other? Someone to whom you deliver a lovely kiss, like you did at the end of the show?
Well, it sure would have been nice.
And this romance? I've ferried off many who've had romantic connections in their lives. It's the biggest source of grief I find. Could you explain this romance to me? It's a common thread among those I've taken away.
Well, you don't need to be with someone to be happy. I know plenty of people content with being on their own, and for them that was perfectly fine.
But did you want to be with someone?
Doesn't really matter I wanted now, does it?
I see. I apologize.
Memento pushed his snout close to Stella's ear. The wolf then threw a pair of fuzzy arms around her static body.
I hope things turn out well for you, miss. I hope you don't see me too soon.
Memento stood back up. Why'd you do that?
Because you did it. You did a hug, and so did I.
Yeah, it wouldn't have affected her. This isn't even her, it's just a memory.
Yeah.
So why? Memento tilted his head and pondered for a moment.
Like you said, just because. She just put on such a stunning performance. Now here she is, crying backstage. I also wish to understand this.
This?
Yes, pain, I believe you call it. Not pain of the body, pain of the heart, the soul.
There are almost always tears when I reach someone.
They're so deeply sad. But then I meet some who are glad for it all to be over. Pains in life, now gone forever. Things they never have to deal with anymore. This pain is what I'm speaking of.
You want to learn about sorrow? I mean, you're the Reaper. You should know all about that.
I'm talking about living sorrow. The sorrow of life. I am death. I fill everyone with at least a bit of sorrow. So, what was your sorrow?
You should know already. How I died.
Yes, but I wish to understand it.
You want me to show you that miserable process I spent the last 4 years dealing with? I don't want to remember it. I don't want to relive that fucking hell.
I understand your trepidation. Truly, this is a massive ask. But please, just let me see. You don't have to watch yourself.
The wolf clasped his paws together, begging. Do I want to see it again? Do I want to see it all over? Do I want to see her again? Closure. That's all I want here. Maybe it'll reveal something. Maybe it'll show something different. Fine. Just don't expect me to be too enthused. Memento's tail wagged heavily, sending petals fluttering left and right.
My deepest thanks, sir.
Memento snapped his digits. Again the world swirled into a vortex. Going back. Wonder if I made the right choice here. One day I noticed lumps that dotted the back of my neck. Thought nothing of it then. Cysts, perhaps. They'd go away eventually. They never did. I called my doctor and was assigned a haematologist. The waiting. God, the endless waiting. It was nothing. I'd be fine.
The results returned. Chronic lymphocytic leukemia, CLL. A rare and aggressive form of blood cancer. Treatment resistant, they said. I knew what they really meant. An 80% survival rate for 5 years. Though incurable, it was an optimistic statistic. Only lasted 4 years. Interestingly, I felt nothing. When the word chronic escaped the doctor's lips, everything became dreamlike. My dreams, my ambitions, my life. As I described my options, all I could think about was my own regrets. I graduated college with a bachelor's in computer science. Though I longed for the stage, reality pulled me to my senses. If I hadn't been in this position, afflicted by a disease that would addle me for the rest of my life, that would have been the right call. No money to be made, my father would repeat. But after death, that didn't matter. Maybe I could have made something of myself in those short years between then. Computers aren't terrible, but... The first year. That first year. I'd never imagined something so hellish could be experienced by the human mind. It was a void that ate away at you more than the cancer. The tests, the trials, the medication. The first months I spent in chemo. Then came the radiation therapy, every day of the week. By the end of each session, I was disgorging heaps of bile into the sink. I was parched. No matter how much I drank, it never stayed down. And all that? For what? I knew what lay ahead a few years down the line. I knew things would never get better. After the relapse, I made a decision to stop treatment. Year 2, things had gotten worse physically. But my mind, on the other hand, I think I'd accepted it by that point. One day there was bleeding under my skin. My platelet count was dangerously low. It'd be the first of many emergency room visits for the rest of my short life. It was getting more aggressive. My lymph nodes were so bloated they felt like rocks grafted beneath my skin. The first visit to the emergency room, I thought it'd finally be the end. Sadly, they managed to save me and put me back in a stable enough state to rest. Days spent in the hospital room were long and arduous. I would often think, back then, about my time with my theatre buddies and how everything was so close-knit. After each play, invariably, some pieces of the group would fade off, away to pursue other interests. Even Stella, who stuck by me since 3rd grade, vanished unexpectedly. But one day I saw her again. Apparently she heard about my conditions through mutual friends. Unlike me, she was positively radiant, glowing brightly like the star she was. We sat together, reminiscing on days long past. She's doing pretty well for herself. Not on Broadway, but apparently doing some commercials on television. She described all the new people she got to meet, all the hope for a bright future laid out before her. She was happy. She had hope. She had a dream that was within her grasp. She thought about wanting to star in a movie, how she'd make sure I got some role in it as well. Thanks for the pity. I think I'll pass. I don't believe I'll be all that great, I'm afraid. Kind of hard to be a good actor when you're, well, dying. You're pretty fortunate you get to do all these things. I'd hate to bring you down. You're a lucky girl, Stella. More than you could ever know. She gave me a peculiar look. Sorry, I think the meds are messing with me. Well, be sure to ask your doctor about that. We lingered for an awkward beat before she spoke again. I'm really sorry, but I need to go. I'll be sure to visit you again soon.
She hugged me. It's great catching up with you, Maury. I nodded. Yeah. Such a lucky girl. So fucking lucky. Hospice care came by the 3rd year. At this point I was a dead man walking. Though, amid my deterioration, before the coming expiration date, it sure treated me nicely. Games, free massages, end-of-life consultation. Not too shabby, I don't think. My new home was a dedicated building off the side, where I'd spend my final days. It was already sorted by then. Once I kicked the bucket, the funeral services would be on the scene immediately. All my assets would go to my father. What little I had anyways. My fate was written, and all I could do was sit around and wait for the sand to run out. By then I loathed myself that damn computer science degree. 4 years of study, and for what? Some soulless programming job I couldn't care less about. A few years of boring but financially stable work. It was tolerable. Couldn't complain if it meant I'd be supporting myself. Even knowing now how it all turned out, the move I made was likely the safest option. Like Dad said, for a person like me, going into the arts would have been financial suicide. Some kid who enjoyed community theatre, aiming for a chance at stardom off Broadway. I barely got into a 75% acceptance rate at university. Juilliard certainly wouldn't give me a passing glance. Yet, at this point, what did it matter? I only had a scant few years of real adult life, and they were all wasted on something I cared nothing for. Perhaps I could have at least withered away with the satisfaction of knowing I tried and failed, as opposed to never having tried at all. Stella visited once more. It was winter and the window was glazed with frost. Stella was adorned with a gaudy sweater, coloured a lurid yellow. There was a spark in her eyes. A grin of excitement. Something huge had happened. You seem happy. I got it! I got the part! Oh, did you now? Her voice rang out like a tropical bird. My agent managed to shoo my way into a pretty big movie, Maury. Her eyes beamed with joy. I swear she'd burst from the excitement. I forced a smile. Not long she explained just how proud she was of herself. So proud. So happy with her future. We did it, Maury. We did it. We? My smile broke. We did it? Stella, I know I'm dying, but come on. You don't need to bullshit me. Her expression froze and she chuckled nervously. Well, I just... Is that what you came here to tell me? About the exciting new life you get to live? I just thought that would make you happy. Yeah, that makes me feel amazing, all right. I'm sorry. Did I... No, you're fine. Everything's fine. You know, except for my numbered days, everything's fine. Maury, I thought it'd help. Help? You thought it'd help? I sat straight up and stared her directly in the eyes. I don't need your help, Stella. I don't want it. You have to understand there's nothing you or anyone can do to make any of this okay. It's pointless. It's bullshit. Why the fuck do you even bother with me? Unable to grasp the fact maybe I don't want to be reminded of what I could be doing? Maury, that's not... Look at me! I tore my hospital gown away, revealing my diseased skin, blotched black and blue from internal bleeding. The bumps won't get any smaller. My hair bleached white after the treatment. Look at me! And tell me this is okay! I just want dignity. I just want to go with dignity. I'm prodded day in and day out, babied every day, trapped in this godforsaken hole of misery. Maury, stop, please. I know you're going through so much. I want to be there for you. I want to help you. I understand your pain. You understand? How could you possibly understand any of this? You're on your way to a glamorous, successful, fulfilling life. And I'm on my way to an early grave. And now Stella's eyes were red. A glistening bead of a tear rolled down her cheek. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for all of this, Maury. But please, don't take it out on me. Let me tell you something. Did I feel satisfied? Maybe a bit. Like some justice had been earned. It was the most pathetic thing you could imagine. I pushed her away. I made sure of that. And then I knew I shoved the last person who cared, even a little, away for good. I was well and truly What time is it anymore? How long will it be until it's done? I had no sense of when anything was. I'd wake up each night, confused and scared. I could barely recognise the faces of the nurses. The end had arrived. My body was finally giving in. I had no interest in the games, no interest in the massages. The only thing I wanted to do was simply lay there, staring up at the ceiling with eyes half closed and mouth slightly agape. The pain had gotten unbearable. I spent most of the day addled by agony that the medication only slightly subdued. One night, the night before I died, I dreamt about Mom and Dad again. They were actually together, smiling. It was lovely. Dad had made a smoked brisket sandwich glazed with barbecue sauce. Even then, in my dying stupor, I could remember the tingling sensation of its sweetness on my tongue. Mom would laugh alongside him. We even invited Stella over some games. There was no particular passage of time, no real linearity to it all. One moment I was there with them, then I was middle-aged, nice and wealthy with several children and a loving husband. My parents were now elderly, so I took them on a nice tour of Europe. The way they looked so happy together they stared at the Eiffel Tower. It felt real. There was another dream, one where I was still an infant, barely coherent with language. I showed my parents a finger painting. They laughed, very proud of their son's incoherent splattering of colours on a canvas. It was intended to depict a dog, the one I always wanted. A dog, yeah, a nice big dog. I remember begging for one when I was 5. My dad strictly forbade it. Too much work, he said. Too much responsibility. I wanted him to be cool, big and strong, but affectionate. Someone who would protect me and sit by my side during rainy days. Someone I could hug, feel their warmth, and let the woes of life wash away in their embrace. Someone who would never.
That's how it went then.
You saw it yourself.
Humans will often tell me they're suffering at the hands of illness.
Does that disturb you?
It's nature. This may sound disrespectful, but I truly have seen it all. I did not witness your unfortunate demise just to experience the human suffering. I understand that it exists. I understand more than you could ever know. But I must ask, why?
What do you mean? Like, why we live in the first place if it all ends the same? With you?
No, as selfish as it may sound, I wonder why I must exist. I was placed into this world as a means of taking you beyond, to take you to your final resting place. Beyond the instinct is engraved into the very fibre of my being. I cannot understand the purpose of it. Things must change, things must end. That I truly understand, and exist to perform. But the suffering? The sheer suffering of knowing I'm around the corner?
Then why are you so chipper?
Chipper?
Yes, you're nothing like I'd have imagined. I was never sure there was an afterlife, much less a canine psychopomp who'd guide me there. You've seen thousands upon thousands of years of death and decay. You said it yourself. You've taken children, mothers, families. Those stricken with disease or those taken by freak twists of fate. You really have seen it all, haven't you? So why do you care so much, Memento? Why do you care so much about our fleeting little lives if they really are so transient?
I didn't always. Early on, life was simple. I'm talking way early on, back before humans roamed the earth. Then it was easy. Survival of the fittest, eat or be eaten. Our job was simply to take care of the spiritual remains. As time progressed, as creatures evolved, they gained intelligence. And so did we Reapers. I can't remember much of my early days, but this.
Memento motioned to himself.
Is nothing like what I was 1,000,000 years ago. But that was par for the course with evolution. Things changed, but the constants remained the same. Survival of the fittest. Dispose of the organisms that have met their end. Be it a sea sponge that starved in the primordial muck, or a towering dinosaur suffocated from the debris of an asteroid. When humans began walking the earth, everything changed. The intelligence they gained, they attained heights we could never have predicted. They crafted artwork, culture, and legacy that far exceeded any previous life form. Indeed, the world had begun to revolve around the perception of these new creatures. And so too did we Reapers need to evolve. As I said before, I can't recall much from the time before the humans. It was all primal, mindless you could say. But soon we grew to reflect them. Their philosophies, their desires, their bonds. The end goal was no longer to continue evolution, but rather to seek out the most fulfilling happiness an individual could experience. And perhaps, as I grew to reap more humans, heard their stories, their sorrows, their joys, I believe I grew to create my own philosophies as well. I will never go away, Maury. I am fundamental to the existence of life. But Reapers change, and we evolve to fit new life forms. So, what will I be like in a few thousand years? So much culture has changed in the past 1,000 years I've spent reaping humans. I've changed so much in these couple of millennia. So perhaps in 1,000,000 years, when humans are long extinct, what will become of this me, this Memento? I'm chipper and kind because I've grown with this sort of human experience. But when that changes... Oh, you big lug. What's so funny? This whole song and dance we've been doing, this is just you having an existential crisis? Well, when you put it like that. So, you put me through all this bullshit to help you come to terms with death, when you are death? Memento chuckled. If we knew the Grim Reaper was a stupid puppy dog in need of a big head pat and a belly rub, I don't think anyone would be afraid of death. Seeing you question your own existence, what the hell it all means, that's like basic human philosophy. So, as far as understanding our little plight, I'd say you're doing pretty well for yourself, Mem. It is quite vexing, I must admit. All its complexity. I'd be lying if I said I didn't yearn for the simplicity of the Cambrian period. I sat on the fountain edge next Memento. But back then, you couldn't get a nice belly rub. Trilobites aren't exactly the most affectionate organisms I've taken. Memento placed 2 paws on his fuzzy stomach and shook it around. But now it seems humans have a soft spot for... a soft spot. So, I decided to make this belly rounder so there's more surface area. It's worked quite well for me, I must say.
Well, I think it looks good on you, I said as I stroked its surface. Maybe keep it for the next era. It was cool to the touch, like the opposite end of a pillow. I wanted to rest my head on it. Memento chuckled a bit, clearly enjoying the experience. The big lug got on his back, unzipped his pants and exposed the whole thing. You're honestly quite adorable.
I try to be. It makes bringing the bad news easier for some folks.
He's really adorable. His fur, his stupid face. Memento peered up at me.
Your face?
What about it?
You look red, like a big cherry.
What? Why would I? I buried my face in my hands.
Humans do that when they're...
I know.
How peculiar. I must say, you humans, your proclivities never cease to surprise me.
Did you ever read Freud? He did mention something called the death drive.
I was going to, but a woman in Algeria broke her neck while trying to clean a window, so another Reaper had to go about it. From what the other Reaper told me, it seems I was quite fortunate with only having ever dealt with Hegel.
Memento rubbed the scruff of his thick neck.
Yeah.
Memento had a distant look in his eyes as he turned away from me. I guess today took a lot out of this death deity. Me as well. I looked up to the sky. Brilliant hues of red and orange painted behind thick wisps of cloud. The sun was falling at a steady rate, approaching the end of the day and the end of my journey. I stroked Memento's fur. There was a peculiar lack of reaction from him. He kept looking away from me, cheating his head the other direction. Eventually, Memento gently pushed me off his stomach and he sat, looking troubled. Hey, are you alright?
In truth, no.
What's bothering you? Memento then turned his gaze to me and was met with a sorrowful expression. One I'd never seen from the wolf until now. He looked tormented, like something was eating him from inside.
Mori, how important is the truth to you?
What?
If the truth were to bring you more anguish than the blissful lie, wouldn't it be better to live that lie until the end?
Memento, what are you saying?
All this affection, all this praise. It's only been an afternoon, and yet I feel close to you.
Memento, can you get to the point? There was something wrong. I could feel it.
Mori, I feel this strong burning emotion within me. Is this shame? Guilt?
Guilt? Guilty of what?
Mori, I have deceived you.
What? What do you mean?
All this time, I thought it'd make the process easier. But I couldn't help but feel this overwhelming burden atop my shoulders as the day progressed.
Memento stared up at the sky, which had become progressively darker as the sun continued its journey behind the horizon.
But I believe I owe you the truth. As your friend, Mori, when I told you before that I knew what was after, no, I was not being truthful in my statement.
There's no way. What do you mean? Memento got up from the fountain and looked me in the eyes. A deep anguish was roiling within him as he selected his next words.
Mori, there is no paradise.
What? My jaw fell slack in shock. The world seemed to slow. Then what lies beyond that final horizon?
Nothing.
Nothing. At all.
Not even us Reapers know. There's no trace left. Not a hint. The body returns to the earth, and the spirit returns to the universe. What truly happens to your consciousness, we have no way of knowing. But, in all likelihood, I don't expect anything to lie beyond that last horizon.
This is the loss of me entirely. The loss of consciousness itself. How could you lie to me about this?
Most humans, when confronted with oblivion, it's impossible for them to truly grasp it. They begin losing themselves in a despair. Many humans indeed ponder, or even certain there's nothing after death. But to receive the explicit truth from me, it breaks them. I simply wanted to...
To what?
To alleviate the anxiety as we explored your past.
So you lied to me about eternity because it was convenient?
Maury, I
was promised the greatest reprieve I could imagine. An eternity of paradise for the hell I endured on Earth. I went through all this just for you to satisfy your stupid curiosity. What did I get in the end? Nothing. That's it. Do you immortals comprehend oblivion? Is it even possible?
I'd ask you the same. Can you?
Whenever I picture death, I imagine eternal black. A sea of dark in which I'd exist forever. But that implies consciousness. What lies beyond exceeds any human's comprehension. Nothing. Pure oblivion. This piece of shit. I knew it was too good to be true. Truly, how could a death deity understand? Why would it care? To this thing, I'm a fleeting little gnat. No, even less than that. I'm just a tiny blip. Even if this Reaper feels guilty, 1,000 years from now, it won't have mattered. Memento will continue to exist until the end of time. Perhaps until the very last life form takes its terminal breath and the universe collapses in on itself. But me, this is all I have. This is all that I am. No, no, no! I shoved Memento aside. You can't do this to me!
I'm well and truly sorry, Maury, but there's nothing you can do.
Fuck you! I ran. Without a body or energy to waste, I could run as fast as I wanted and never slow down. The world was a blur, a blitz of colour and light. No. No, he can't. He can't do this to me. It can't. It can't end this way. The life I lived left nothing behind but regret and suffering. I don't deserve any of this. Just, please, let me exist.
Maury, you can't run.
His voice came in from all directions. I couldn't know where from. All I could do was keep running. Get away from me! I twisted around and dashed the other way. There has to be somewhere. Somewhere!
Maury, please. Don't make this harder than it needs to be.
Stop following me! I have to run. Somewhere that's safe. He's behind me. I can feel it. The petals, they dance in the corner of my vision. I have to run. I have to get out of here. I have to escape. Please, God.
Stop. This at once. I told you there was a no outrunning me. This goes no further. Do you understand?
Why? Why does it have to be like this?
It's just how it is. It's time.
It was pure silence. Not a hushed murmur, but rather total, engulfing absolute silence. The water was so still it looked solid. There was no wind to brush the flowers that dotted the landscape. No sound of birds chirping or insects buzzing. Memento offered its paw and I took it. We walked closer to the wall. It was soft, yet I felt no force on earth could sever its grasp. The boards were silent as we strode across. Not even the faintest thumping of wood. Silence. It was pure silence. Memento turned to me and sighed.
Well, my friend, this is it.
I approached the wall, brushed my hand against the petals. They danced around the tips of my fingers, but I couldn't feel them. I retracted my hand and the petals receded in a splash of red. Looking up, the wall extended far, far into the sky. On both sides they stretched beyond the horizon towards infinity.
You may have a seat here. You can take as long as you like.
Thank you, Yeah. I took a seat on the bench nearby and simply watched the petals ripple across the wall.
I've had those who spend hours just staring. Time doesn't move here. It's quite beautiful, is it not?
Memento, tell me.
Yes?
When the last organism dies, what becomes of you? Eventually all life in the universe will be extinguished at some point, yes? When the universe collapses in on itself? Heat death, I believe it's called.
I've never given that much thought. I suppose, then, we Reapers may disappear as well.
And what before? What were you before life first sprung from carbon? Memento approached the flowers and gently produced a long, gorgeous lily from it. Its petals radiating the deepest, most brilliant red. Its stem lithe like a silk scarf, encircled his finger. Memento placed the flower in my lap.
Where were you before you were born, Maury? Do you recall that?
He said, staring back at me with a distant expression.
You've shown me a lot, Maury. More than I could ever have hoped for. I know none of this is easy, but let me impart some perspective that may comfort you. Perhaps it may help you accept what's to come.
Memento sat right beside me and tenderly placed a paw on my shoulder.
You went through eternity once. What's another one to you?
Well, life is just an impossibly thin line between two forevers. But relative to that thin line, the experience varies wildly. Some forget to be wealthy beyond their wildest dreams, to control and shape the world and be written into the annals of time, remembered and celebrated for generations. Others, die in their 30s, miserable, alone and forgotten. We all end up in the same place, and we all come from the same place, but that thin line will always be unequal. Some just get to be happier, and that's it. So why couldn't I have been happy? It's so unfair. Memento stood silently and stared into the wall.
Perhaps it is. Perhaps that inequality is just a fundamental truth of the universe. Just as I am.
I stood up and faced the wall. I think I'm ready.
Are you sure? There's still time to...
Memento, please. Memento bit his lip in a bitter expression before stepping aside, allowing me to approach. Time felt as though it had slowed to a crawl. 1 step, 2 step, 3. My nose was now grazing the petals of the wall. They danced and flickered in and out, as if assuring me that everything would be fine, that everything would be okay. No smell, no sensation, nothing. I took one last breath and...
Wait!
Felt a paw seize my hand firmly.
Wait, just one moment.
Memento?
I
Felt a pair of cool, fuzzy arms wrap around me.
I'm sorry, Maury.
Was he sobbing?
I'm so sorry for everything. That you had to live like that. That you had to die like that. All of this, it's so unfair. Why did you have to suffer? And this is all you get in the end. This is all that awaits you and everyone else in this world. I've spent so long detached from you humans. Your lives, a foreign concept. But now, what is this? This feeling inside me. It hurts. It hurts so much. The
wolf sobbed deeply into my chest. Memento. He bawled, howls piercing the silence.
Why does it have to hurt?
I held Memento close and rubbed the back of his head. It sucks, I know. Believe me, I know more than anyone. I hate that it has to end this way, Memento. But you won't remember me. In 1,000 years I'll be just another one of the bunch. It's okay. I'm just not important.
No, I don't want to forget you. I don't want to forget anyone. People I've led here. Their smiles, their sorrows. I understand. I understand now the injustice of it all. You and everyone else. I don't want forever. I don't want to change in 1,000 or 1,000,000 years into someone completely different. I don't want to not love anymore. I betrayed your trust. I deceived you. And to lead you here after everything that's happened.
He was inconsolable. I'd never seen anyone cry so harshly. His voice hoarse with adult wailing in streams of tears that splattered the ground. Just let me go, and you can forget all about this all. Memento, I'm tired. If there is nothingness, then fine. At least it stops. You raised and dashed my hopes. Hey, it doesn't matter now, does it? Memento started to calm down and look towards me.
I know that I must.
He wiped his tears off with his tail, took a deep breath inwards.
Maury, if it means anything.
Memento drew closer to me.
May I ask you one more thing? Just one more thing. Before you depart.
What is it?
Can you teach me how to dance?
What? Before I knew it, the world melted around me once again. This is... What? We're in space? To my right, galaxies light years away. To my left, planets and moons coloured purple, blue, green and silver dance around brilliant nebulas. It was a tornado of red petals, spinning and swimming like a school of tropical fish through the sea of stars. Memento, where is this?
Where the star went. Her home, a wonderful home.
There were no bounds, nothing keeping me grounded. I twirled around and a plume of petals surrounded me. Memento floated up towards me, flowers now erupting from his tail. He slid a paw on my shoulder, another in hand.
Like this?
I looked into his eyes, radiating with wonder. One last chance. One final moment. No. Like this. Memento took to the choreography quickly. Our stage, a galaxy. Our audience, the stars. The memories of the waltz returned to me immediately, as though I'd just practiced them yesterday. But this time I felt confident, more fluid, more alive than any of my previous performances. Memento and I danced across the cosmos, our gazes locked into each other's.
This feeling, my heart, my chest, chills, fluttering, it's all so much. Is this what you humans call romance? Is this love?
I simply stared at the wolf and smiled. You certainly know Fred Astaire. His movements were sloppy and he wouldn't stop jittering. At one point, Memento tripped over my feet and we tumbled together into a pool of glimmering stars. The stars were warm, Memento's body was like a heavy blanket weighing down on me. Despite the slip-up, neither of us could shake the smiles that were plastered on our faces. We laughed again before Memento picked me up again and we continued the dance.
Why can't we just fade into the stars and dance for all eternity?
The waltz must end, Memento. The show must stop. Otherwise, why would we ever cherish it? This one wonderful moment, together. We progressed into the next step, and the next. The time for the finale was approaching, yet we savoured every moment of our dance. As we ramped up to the conclusion, as the final steps approached, it all stopped.
Is that it?
No, there's one last step.
And what is that?
I can hold your hand if you want. It won't make you disappear too, will it? Memento shook his head.
No, nothing can.
Thank you, Memento. Thank you for being with me. Memento grinned.
It's what I do. It's just how I am.
I simply smiled back at him and rested my head on his chest. It was warm. For once, the wolf was actually warm. We both stepped forward and plunged into the flowers. I think we all need a few minutes after that. So, while we are all recovering from that, in a good way I have to say, there's 2 messages here from Bowser. And it was the Maywolf Furry Visual Novel Game Jam. Probably worth checking out some other stuff there. Team Tank... all this I still can't talk properly. Team Lycoris. And some of them are here, and I have to say, everyone's done an amazing job in this. Music, story, art, coding, everything is amazing. And here are some links. So Cetus is working on I think he wants me to pronounce it eco, but I keep saying ICO. It's one of those things. You might have seen some of those before, and I will be coming back to that when we get some. Arcadia, hearts faster than light. That sounds interesting. And you can see the amount of art here. Bowser is working on chord progressions, which I played most of what they have there. It's very good. I've been enjoying it a lot. This isn't one I'll be doing on the channel because they have voice acting. And, you know, it's... Well, that's kind of what I'm doing for them. So, there we go. Human Heart VN. Thanks, Nightshade. I'll put on my list. Raki made the UI. So, chord progression, side connection cleaved. Cleaved a fancy spider. There are so many VNs these days, I honestly can't keep up on them. This one. And of course, Camazule, who's worked on Distant Travels, which I'm in the process of doing, and Ocean Avenue, which I'm also doing. A lot of Camazule music on the channel. Oh yeah, I forgot you were in this. Well, thanks for giving the feedback. And I saw you in the channel earlier. I hope you're still here. I know I haven't been talking to many people and responding to comments, but yeah, it's quite a lot to read here. I don't like interrupting myself. But on the itch.io page, you can definitely... And there. Thank you, Arcadia. And yeah, please do rate it. I've done it myself. And, as I say here, please do take a moment to tell someone you care about that you love them today. Yes, you do never know when they'll be gone. So, that was Before You Depart. And that was actually a longer stream than I expected it to be. Let me just scroll up the chat a moment while we're all sort of still here. Oh, thank you, Camazule. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I always worry when I have creators watching my stuff. Oh, am I doing this? Is it good? Is it bad? I literally can't stand listening to myself do these things. I'm like Maury, they're watching that play. Silver Clothes, Is that it? I don't actually know what that one is. I'm just scrolling back here. Okay. Yes, Stella did need to rework that. Comet, I am doing very well, thanks. I have a lot of gardening to do tomorrow. I've got some new plants, so I'm hoping to get apples this year. Oh yes, everyone wants a hug memento. Okay, I'm just scrolling back now quite a bit. Okay, well... Okay. Yeah, no, I think it was, roughly hour and a half stream there, just the actual VN, and I think there was only about 5 errors in there, which is not too bad. Yes, I'm that fussy about how I do these things. Flange Stimulator, yeah, they will be up on YouTube once we've finished all this, so you can go and watch the whole thing through if you want. And yeah, Arcadia, it's such a good job there. I've asked to do it, and then, let me have a quick check at the beginning. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Then I had a chance to play it through the rest of the way. Don't worry, Nightshade. I'm happy for people to be involved in the chat. Like I say, I don't often get involved because I'm not used to people chatting when I'm recording these things. And so I did do a quick thanks to all my patrons. So I do have a patron for this, and Ko-fi. I'm not saying you should give me any money, don't worry about that. But I will try and edit my list of patrons on at the beginning before it goes up. But I do want to give a quick mention to Burnt Toast, Kartek, Cobus Visser, Legacy Bucciarati, Lark Huskerton, Bastion, Brian Hall, Tiger Cub, Idai Corval, Anubis Silverwind, Dissonance, Grizz, Spiderling, Kopi, Cindy Dragowolf, Marcus, Evan King, Exac, Aaron Fox, Mohamed Al Zamel, Andy Peng, Samuto, Omar, Bigfooty Judy, Nova Starburn, and Vulpers Need Coffee. Who are my top patrons. And special thanks to all of you who have been in the chat. Whether I've just spoken to you or not, or whether you've just been here for a while, thanks for being here. Appreciate all of you just watching this. I'm sorry, Kurishukutu, about hearing you lost your grandma there. It's always difficult to do something like that and to lose them. I've been through it 4 times, so yes, I do understand that one. Arcadia, yes, my condolences to you as well. Yeah, so thanks, and I have to give a quick couple of extra mentions to Grizz, who's given me so much work with Password, and to Omar for reasons which he will understand if he's watching. But yeah, Andy Peng as well. Why? I forgot you, Andy. Thanks for doing after class. So I hope if I have time to do some more Burrows in the week, and then next weekend is more Liar. And there will be some more Nevin coming up. Sorry, so bad I've reading your comments. I won't go into more detail about why I appreciate Omar so much. Because I don't share some things on here. But yeah, he's very much appreciated, and there's all of you. Now at this point we are just rambling, or I'm just rambling, and I'm reading the comments. I think that's a good sign to say we should finish this up. And again, I thank you all for being here, however long you made it, and if you're just watching on the video, the recording, and you are still here, thanks for watching, and everyone here and everyone watching, bye for now.